to Align and Elevate. Love who you are. A show where I can be me and you can be you. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone. This is Melanie, and my friend Graham here is going to talk to us today here on Align and Elevate and Loving Who You Are. And I'm going to let Graham take it away and introduce himself.
All right, lovely. Thank you, Melanie. My name is Graham Hawley. I'm a certified health and wellness coach and the founder of Simply Health Conscious. It was about 6 years ago when I had been observing both my brother and my father becoming debilitated through other conditions type 2 diabetes was causing them. And I kind of stopped and wondered, am I setting myself up for these conditions? And when I say conditions, we're talking of both of them had suffered a heart attack. My brother's lost 80% of his eyesight due to diabetic retinopathy, had bleeding ulcers in his stomach. My father became, about that time, my father lost all his mobility, became housebound. We had to take his vehicle away. And he slowly declined over those 5 or 6 years. He ended up with 7 chronic illnesses and ended passing away riddled with gangrene. So as I looked into all of this and started to do some research, I'll be honest, I was a little blown away because I really wasn't conscious of my own health at that time. And when I discovered that not only type 2 diabetes, chronic weight gain, high blood pressure, cardiovascular heart disease, dementia, liver damage, kidney damage, 95% of the time, it's through lifestyle disease.
Yep.
And it really took me down a rabbit hole I haven't really come out of yet. And be honest, I don't want to come out of it because what I started to do was get my own life in order, get my own blood work in order. And I saw where it led me to having more energy and my blood work in order. And then I started to help some friends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too long before some of my friends who were coming, who I was helping, were type 2 diabetics and had high blood pressure. It wasn't really too long before they were going to the doctors and the doctor was reducing and eliminate the medications for high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. And like I said, in the beginning, it was a bit mind-blowing to me. I'm like, hold on, why is 80% of the nation dealing with these problems?
If you were able to, how long of a period would you say you were helping your friends before they felt that shift where they were feeling better? How long of a period would you say that was?
Yeah. Well, I'd say really, I think they were seeing some benefits within only weeks, really.
That's what I was thinking, is it's like, it's kind of simple once you start, and you'll start to see the benefits pretty quickly.
Yeah. And as for doctors reducing and eliminating medications, that was anywhere from 8 weeks to 12 weeks. And a little bit more for some. It all depends on the efficacy of how they were moving forward themselves.
But that seems fast to me.
It was fast to me. It was quite mind-blowing in the beginning.
Right.
And so then it was beginning of last year. I thought, I should write a book. And I wrote this book. It's primarily a weight loss book, but these are the steps I take with all my clients, no matter what they show up with, whether they'll come to lose weight or they might have some medications for something.
Right.
And so this is not just a weight loss book. This is my program focuses on what I call the 5 pillars of health.
Okay.
because I think where people fail, especially when it comes to weight loss, I think they focus on a so-called diet. I hate that word diet.
I'm glad you
Um,
said that because I don't like it either.
yeah, it's nutrition is really what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to put these 5 pillars of health into a pie graph, I don't really think one of them would take a bigger slice of the pie because they are all important for optimal health.
Mm-hmm.
And the other four, so it's nutrition, movement, and exercise. We've slowly over the decades reduced as movement and exercise, mainly because we have all these devices in front of us, and even people don't seem to want to cook and eat real food anymore. The good ordering food in or going through a drive-through,
Right.
even eating it. They come out the drive-through. I see people eating while they're driving, and I think people forget why we eat food. We eat food to nourish our bodies.
So
And
you're
unfortunately,
saying otherwise that's mindful less eating. I don't even know if that's a word. It's like we're eating, but we don't even realize we're eating. I know that's true of
yeah,
me
yeah. I don't
sometimes.
think, I think, look, I'm including myself in this in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. I just would just, yeah, I'd go through a drive-through. I'd grab something quick and easy. And that's what we've slowly been indoctrinated into.
Yeah.
Not only that, but we have also been slowly indoctrinated into 3 meals a day
Mm-hmm.
plus snacking in between. Well, it's the fundamental cause of every single lifestyle disease there. Too much unhealthy ingredients in fast food and processed food. And it seems to be what the majority of people turn to when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to so-called nourishing themselves.
Right.
So nourishment, exercise and movement. Then you got to look at your stress levels
Mm-hmm.
and being mindful of alcohol because those two will lead to better sleep. And you have to look at your overall sleep, your circadian rhythm. It's where your body rejuvenates, and
Right.
it's time for all your organs to get to work, to get rid of the metabolic and pathogenic waste. Well, if you're having disrupted sleep because of stress, you're not
Yeah.
sleeping well, or you had too much alcohol that night, or you've been watching TV until you turn it off and then go to bed. So there's all these little tips and tricks within each one of these pillars. Then you have to dissect, and there's another 10 things in there,
Mm-hmm.
which is overwhelming for people.
Mm.
But I really think when you break it down, and I broke it down in here, small steps. That's really how you get the success of this. It's not overwhelming yourself. It's to focus on one small step and one pillar at a time.
So
So,
when you're working with someone new, what is like, how often will you see them at the beginning of their
mm,
journey of this
mm,
to kind
yeah,
of, I would think it's a little bit of accountability, being that you're talking with them all the time.
yeah, yeah,
I know for me, that's a big part of it is the
yeah. Well,
accountability part.
I think it is for most people. That's why I mentioned early on. Some people have the self-efficacy to say, you know what, I need to make some changes. I want to make some changes.
Mhm.
Here's what I'm going to do. And then most people really don't know what steps to take.
Yeah. I think
So my
it's,
my my program is that I when I say meet, I don't meet in person because I have clients. Well, I've
right.
got clients in England. I got clients all over the country.
Yeah.
Meet by Zoom, a recorded Zoom, so that because people can't remember everything when you talk for an hour, what you should really be doing. But
Right.
at the end of it, at the end of each session, I call it the takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to let my client set their own takeaway.
Oh,
What
nice.
can, what can you do this week? Only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to make what we have to do is identify the unhealthy habits. I like to start with nutrition because I think that's tripping a lot of people up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they're drinking sodas. sports drinks, energy drinks, sugary coffee drinks. You've got to eliminate those.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ways to do that. Some people can cut it cold turkey.
Yeah.
For me, I couldn't do that in the beginning. It was the same with alcohol for me. I couldn't cut that cold turkey. So I just take the small steps to reduce
A little bit.
until it was eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Now I only drink water, tea, coffee, the things which are doing your body some good.
Right. So I'm a sugarholic. I will totally
Most
cop
people
to
are.
that.
Yeah.
Started when I was a kid. Loved
Mm,
candy.
yeah.
I would say I'm reducing it some better than I used to be.
Mm.
But I have tried on the coffee thing and I just can't seem to do it. And so I did switch to agave over sugar. Is that any better
Yeah,
necessarily?
well, that's another thing is to if you're at home, yeah, I'd say allulose, stevia, and
Mm-hmm.
monk fruit seem to
Monterey.
be the most popular ones. And
Mm-hmm.
do you know why people need to switch to that? Because here's what I found, and this was for me personally. Once I understood a little bit, only a little bit, how the human body works
Right.
and what you're actually doing to it, then for me it was I kept going back to my brother and my father.
Right.
I don't want to spend the last 10 years of my life in pain and suffering.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier once you understand what causes these problems, and really the fundamental cause of every lifestyle disease, even high blood pressure. Everybody seems to revert back to salt because that's what the doctor tells them. Well, the thing with high blood pressure is it is something to do with sodium, but what it really is, once sugar starts to damage your kidneys lose their ability to excrete sodium. Therefore, the sodium goes back in your bloodstream, causing inflammation. Inflammation of the bloodstream is high blood pressure.
Mm.
It really is all about cutting simple carbohydrates and sugar. And where do we find excess of simple carbohydrates and sugar? Fast food and anything in a box, tub, packet, carton, wrapper.
Right.
And like I mentioned earlier, it's the go-to thing now. It's the go-to thing for parents when they're in the supermarket with the
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
The kids are pointing, oh, Mum, I want some of that. Oh, sure, son, sure.
So, what about bread? Because I tried doing sourdough bread on my own to make it a
Mm,
little healthier than buying it at the store. And I had a friend that went to a European market and brought me some bread that was like I wouldn't call it a flatbread, but it was not like a loaf of bread like
mm,
this. That bread tasted so light
good.
and good to me.
Mm.
So my question is, was it a little healthier because they're using a different flour than what we use here in America?
Well, the grains are not soaked in glyphosate for one.
Right. If you can get European made flours and things like that and you make your own bread, are you still a little ahead of the game?
Yes, you are. If you can make your own, and what I like that you did choose sourdough. There's maybe three main breads out there because most bread has sugar in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? The only breads what really do are ciabatta bread,
Yeah.
sourdough,
That.
and Ezekiel bread. I personally, I get my bread from Whole Foods because that's where they make it. I would not go into a supermarket and buy my ciabatta bread in a plastic bag because
Right.
it's dumped up with preservatives
Yeah.
because at least the bread in Whole Foods, I've no doubt it's got some preservatives in, but you need to minimize on these type of grainy things and
Yeah.
floury things, pasta, pizza, bread. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the misinformation and disinformation and deceptive packaging by food companies. It might,
Mm.
but let's just take Coke Zero or sugar free. I guarantee you, yes, there might not be no refined sugar in there, but there are other artificial flavorings and sugars, which they don't have to, they can say sugar free because it's not sugar, but it's equally as damaging to your body. And that's what people are not realizing. Well, I drink sugar free. Oh, look at this zero. It's don't belong in the human body.
I feel like those are worse for you. I would almost rather see somebody drink the real thing that's just regular sugar than those
Mm.
chemicals, because those
Yeah, I
chemicals are
agree. And
made in a lab somewhere. You have no idea what's in them. Yeah, it's not meant for your body.
yeah,
I agree with that.
look, all this man-made food, factory-made food, it's designed by food scientists
Yeah.
basically to be addictive. And you know what? They do a great job. They do.
Yeah.
They do a fantastic job. The whole system is set up. I know this sounds a little controversial, but from what I've learned over this last 6 years, and I can see it, it's like it's in plain sight in front of you, is the food system is set up to some degree with all the ingredients that don't agree with the human body. They do not. They do the opposite of agree. They cause disease. The overconsumption of these fast foods and processed foods
Right.
cause disease slowly. And just to prove a point there, why are children and teenagers now being diagnosed with fatty liver, type 2 diabetes, and weight gain? It's
Yeah.
because the parents are walking around the supermarket, throwing everything in the basket the kid wants. And look, in parents' defense, or in anybody's defense, there's more advertisement out there, whether it be billboards,
Right.
TV ads, how to be unhealthy, not healthy.
Yeah.
And this is why this is a pandemic. This is not an epidemic. And we
Right.
saw when there was a pandemic of the COVID, they shut the world down. They're not even talking about this.
Yeah.
And this is part of my passion. This is why I, I think I'm probably going to devote. I'm 67, but I'm devoting this to the rest of my life.
That I think is awesome, that you are being a voice to so many, and being on this podcast helps even one person. You've done a
That's it.
great job because
Yeah,
you've saved someone from suffering.
I hope
I
so.
feel like there needs to be more of a campaign of going back to gardening your own food. I know people say, I don't have time to garden. It takes no effort for you to go plant a tomato plant in a pot and put it on your back deck or your
Well,
patio
yeah.
or
I
something.
mean, I'm going to agree with that, but a lot of people, like you say, it's time. They don't have the garden. A lot of people don't have a garden. Um,
Right.
I live in a condominium. I don't have a garden. Having said that, I do have a patio, and I'm growing straw. I grow strawberries on there and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. But that's
Yeah.
just because. But I think what people need to start to at least think is
Mm-hmm.
you've got to slowly, and I say slowly because this is small steps, big wins,
Right.
slowly start to make all your meals and start by your one meal at a time from real food.
So do you recommend like meal prepping, say in the beginning of the week or something like that at all?
Absolutely. I would not eat as healthy as I do if I didn't do these two things.
Okay.
I have 24/7. You can open my fridge now any day of the week, and I have a pre roasted vegetable dish
Hmm.
so that I can pair that with my scrambled eggs. I can pair it with a steak, salmon. So when I'm heading home, all I'm thinking about is where's my protein coming from? I've got my fiber, I've got my complex carbohydrates, I've got all that in my fridge.
Mm-hmm.
So so I say meal prepping is great. And that literally, I mean, it don't take me no time at all. And also in my fridge, I have always a mixed berries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries
Yep.
in the fridge because I can pair that with plain Greek yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
I love chocolate. I'm like everybody else, and I get dark dark chocolate cooking nibs, and I'll throw a little bit of those in there with my yogurt and my berries, and it makes a lovely dessert.
Right.
Um, so yes, it's slowly. I don't think you can do it any other way but slowly.
Yeah.
And I like the last chapter in my book, chapter 11, because it's got the key takeaways. Because again, you've got to look at everything. If you can start by your first meal of the day, make sure it's savory and not sweet. Everybody's going for the jam on toast, the pancakes, the
Right.
cereal. And I know why parents are doing that, because they can tell the kids, go on, make yourself some cereal. I
Right.
understand there's a time, especially getting your kids ready for school. You've got two, three kids. You have time, or you think you don't have time, to be making them scrambled eggs with some vegetables. Because when they eat that cereal and you have those simple carbohydrates for breakfast,
Right.
that's why 2 hours later you're like, oh, I need a snack. I need a
Right.
snack. Because
Because you crash.
you've had a sugar spike, and then you've got your crash. And this is what's affecting kids' learning abilities at school.
Yeah.
They're up, they crash, snack. The parents send them, oh, here, here's some snacks when you need a snack while
Mm-hmm.
in between your lessons. And they're just up and down all the time. If you eat a good savory breakfast, you won't think of snacking. You won't
I
need to snack.
I discovered that for myself. If I will eat some protein in the morning, some
Yeah,
fruit, I am satisfied till 12, 1 o'clock in the
yeah,
afternoon.
it
Um,
works.
yeah, it really does
Protein.
work. Um,
Every meal. I'm sorry, go on.
I
You,
discovered making those little egg cups. That's not hard to do. You make 12 of them at a time, throw them in the freezer,
you got it.
quickly warm it in the morning, and I've got fresh vegetables in there, like you said,
Yeah.
kind of more savory.
Mm-hmm.
Got mushrooms and peppers and all the
I
good
love it.
stuff, and
I love it. Yeah, this is great. You see,
nothing else in there.
my roasted vegetable dish is pretty much the same. I do eat other vegetables, but my roasted dish, and this is because of the anti-inflammatory properties in there, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, it's always the same. Red pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper, mushrooms,
Yep.
onions, and fresh garlic.
Yep. Oh,
I
yeah.
chop it all up. You can mix that with a scrambled egg. And
Mhm.
like you mentioned, every meal you should be saying to yourself, this is the first thing you should say to yourself, where's my protein coming from?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you need to have ample protein. Your body needs protein.
How many grams would you say of protein per day? On a rough, just give me a rough average.
Yeah, on a rough. Look, it depends for everybody. If you're a bodybuilder, you're gonna go need more
Right.
protein. But just on average, I'd say an adult, because it does go with weight. But again, you don't.
Right.
Nobody wants to be counting calories. Nobody wants to be counting
Right.
protein. But for me, I make sure that I get 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. And I only have 2 meals a day because I'm into that fasting regimen,
The intermittent fasting.
the intermittent fasting. I have my last meal around at the latest 7 o'clock on an evening,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. There's no calories goes in my body until about 11 o'clock noon the next day. So I'm doing a 16, 17 hour. So I eat my 2 meals
Right.
within that 6 or 7 hour window. And
Yeah.
when I have my first meal, I don't think of snacking until until it gets to 5, 6 o'clock. And even then, sometimes I go, "Yeah, I'm not really hungry." But I go, all right, well, I need some more fiber. I need some more protein. And maybe once a week, I'll do a 20-hour fast. I'll have my last meal at night. I'll skip that lunchtime meal. That's
Mhm.
usually if I'm out and about, I've got appointments. I'm not going to go drive through a drive through.
Right.
And it does your body good.
Yeah.
That, again, we've been programmed that we need to eat all the time for energy. You know what happens when you fast? You have more energy and more clarity than you can even imagine.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point because a lot of my clients are older And they will say to me things like, well, I just eat because it says it's noon, or I eat because it's six
Yeah,
o'clock. I said,
yeah.
well, are you hungry? And they're like, no, not really. And I'm like, then why are you eating? Because the
Mm.
society has been programmed, like you said, okay, I need to eat at 8 a.m., noon, and 5
Yeah.
or 6. But what about listening to your body? And I
Mm.
think every day is different. I may be starving one day and I may not
Yeah,
eat hardly at all the next day. I
yeah.
think
That's,
that's normal.
I think so too. But like you said, people don't pay attention to that. Look,
Mhm.
and again, I'm going to say this, and I always say this in people's defense, because we've just been indoctrinated into piling food in us mouths 3 times a day, snacking. Oh, you finish your dinner, you sit down and watch Netflix. Well, you need a snack.
Yeah,
You don't need a snack. You think you need a snack, but you don't. Here's another thing people don't realize: these lifestyle diseases can take decades, and you before they show their ugly head, but you're slowly doing damage to other vital organs.
right,
Don't wait until it's point of no return, like my brother and my father. They
right.
got to a point of no return, just further decline.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got to, again, you've got to say to you, I think the big question, I always ask people this: would you want your health to be like the last 10 years of your life?
Mm,
Because what you're doing now is going to determine that.
yeah. What do you say about hydration? Because that's the other thing that I've noticed is I feel like I want something to eat, but I think it's really I'm thirsty.
I love it. I love it. It's great. That's what I say to my clients. If you maybe you've had a meal and then a couple of hours later, because you're already in that habit, oh, I go for
Hmm.
a snack, just hydrate, hydrate, have a drink of water.
Yeah.
I put with my water, I start, here's what they say is very beneficial. People get up on the morning, they're having, they'll go straight for the coffee or they go straight for breakfast. I start the day off with a lukewarm. I put water from the fridge, filtered water, and then I put about this much hot water in it.
Hmm.
I put magnesium powder because that's one of the biggest deficiencies on the planet,
Agree.
magnesium. And
Hmm.
I also put Mediterranean sea salt in there. Your
Hmm.
liver loves that wake up call on a morning. Your
Yeah.
gut and your kidneys, they're all going, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So hydration is good. And if I do have a downfall, it's hydration. It really is. Yeah, I do my best. I always go, if I leave the house, I always take a water bottle which has got sea
Same.
salt in it. Again, we've been told to avoid salt. It's the wrong information. Now, if you
There's a
want to
lot
talk
of different kind of
refine,
salts
yeah,
too.
well, that's it. Refined salt, definitely keep
Yeah,
away
it's
from.
the mineral salt that you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's good.
Yeah.
In fact, when I started to put salt in my water, my blood pressure went down. I check my blood pressure. Here's another thing I tell people: look, self care is the new healthcare.
Yeah.
Because we all know you go to your doctors with any symptom, they're looking for the pill to put you on.
Right.
And that's just how it is. And if you understand that's how it is, then you have to start taking care of yourself. I recommend everybody has the blood work done twice a year
Right.
and learn to read it. Learn to know what to look for. If something's out, you can, especially on your vitamin and mineral panel, vitamin D and magnesium are the two most deficiencies on the planet.
Yeah.
Even if you live in a sunny climate, you'll be surprised of actually how much vitamin D you're getting.
Yeah. They say that that's so important for your immune system to stay strong,
Oh, everything.
which
I
I
mean,
definitely am a big proponent of. Go out and get some sunlight first thing in the morning. I mean,
great.
it'll be freezing cold, and I'll still go out there with a bundled
I
up
love it.
but I'm still getting some sun on my face.
Exactly. And here's another thing: get out there on a morning or anytime you're on out there, ditch the sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't wear sunglasses.
Yeah, and sun cream. You know what?
Nope.
Cancer rates have also, I think, I don't know, I don't know if this is a true stat, but like most diseases over the last 35, 40 years, they've tripled. So has skin cancer.
Yep.
Now, if you go back and say, well, why is it tripled? Maybe the carcinogenic properties in sun cream,
Right.
maybe the people walking around blocking the sun and the vitamin D and all the rays you're getting from sun. You're just pushing them out, and then you got sunblock on. You might as well just get a balaclava on and go out.
Go live in a cave somewhere if you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do that.
exactly. So again, there's all these things we've been told to do. Put your sunglasses on, put your sunblock on, deodorant, skin cream. I mean, I think plus all the carcinogenic properties in the fast food and processed food.
Yeah.
People are just not aware of it. They're
Yeah.
not aware what they're slowly doing to
I
themselves.
do think that we are slowly waking up as an entire species.
Nation. No,
Um,
I agree with you, but it's only this
it's
much.
slow. Yeah.
It's only this much. I
Well, and
personally,
it's
I
gonna
personally think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
it's gonna take us as a society no longer buying those products to make those companies go down
Mm,
and basically forcing them to
mm.
either make a better product or, like you said, go back to just Whole Foods in the first place.
Right, right. It's like, I know the current government, I mean, governments don't talk about this, but the current government were talking about all the dyes going into a children's food. But
Mm,
that's all they spoke about. What about all the carcinogenic properties?
right.
And what about all the copious amounts of simple carbohydrates and sugar and the lack of fiber? Uh, this isn't real food. This is not what the human body thrives on.
Right.
And this is why we have this pandemic of children, teenagers, adults at every age dealing with these chronic illnesses.
Well, and something you said earlier to me is about becoming your own advocate. That's probably part of the problem too, is I'm just going to go do what I'm going to do and then I'm going to go see a doctor and expect him to fix it. You know what I mean? There's a big divide there. Instead
There
of,
is, yeah. Mm,
okay, I know what my blood work is. Anybody can Google blood work and it'll tell you what your range should be, and it can tell you how to lower it. It'll say eat these foods, or I mean it's to
mm.
me, but I've also been in the health field a long time, so that's I'm passionate like you are about it. Is do your own research. Don't just go blindly
Mm.
by whatever a doctor says.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. No disrespect to when I say doctors, I'm on about at the GP level. I mean, look, you fall
Yeah.
off a roof, you get hit by a car, unbelievable. The surgeons, the
Yeah, we
the
need that.
response time, yeah, it's top notch
Right.
technology and everything. But when it gets down to the GP level of
Right.
just basic being healthy,
Right.
unfortunately, they're not even trained in that. They're not trained in nutrition, understanding. They don't talk about the 5 pillars. In fact, they don't talk about anything. The doctors have they're allowed 10 minutes with the patient. And I've had doctors, I talk to my doctors, not just my doctors, my specialists, my urologist and my cardiologist. I have
Hmm.
good in-depth conversations with them.
Yeah.
And, they know that I know what's going on and
And
they
I
acknow-
think,
they acknowledge it.
uh-huh, I think that is hugely the divide that needs to be narrowed down is
Mm,
when you take responsibility for your own health. Like you said, even the smallest step, very small steps, can make a
mm,
huge benefit in the long
mm.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, it's a tough one because it's just overall lifestyle. You have to look at all these 5 pillars of health. Some people have all 5 pillars to work on.
Right.
Some people only have 2 pillars to work on. And this is why when I get my new client, we go through each pillar. and go,
Yeah.
all right, oh, you don't drink alcohol much? You might have a glass of wine if you go out. Fantastic. Don't worry about that.
Right.
Okay, you're retired. You don't have stress free. You don't have stress with work. Your kids are grown up. They're not giving you stress. Wonderful. Right. So are you getting quality sleep? Yeah, I'm getting quality sleep. I track my sleep. Okay. So the reason you might be overweight is because of your nutrition and the lack of exercise.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you've got three of them down. Let's work on the other two.
So, what do you do with your clients where there is a lot of stress involved? How do you help them work through that?
Well, yeah, that's a great question because I am not I'm not an expert in this, but what I say to people with stress is one, look, we're human beings, we're going to have stress.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about if you maybe go out in your car and you get a flat tire. You know, obviously you're going to be stressed out. You just got to deal with that. You call
Right.
for the tow truck, somebody might pull up, or you change your tire yourself and you get back on the road.
Yeah.
But I think what I find is that most people's stress comes from family, work,
Hmm.
and friends. And here's what I found, and I realized I was doing this to myself: self induced stress, creating your own stress.
Hmm.
So, what I tell my clients and what I did myself was write your stresses down.
Okay.
Because if you don't write them down, if you're just playing them in your head, you're not going to solve them. And you can't solve them, but you can reduce them. I.e., let's just say, I was talking to somebody a while ago, and she says, oh, my stress comes from my kids. They're always stressing me out. I said, well, look, no disrespect, but you're the parent. You need to set some boundaries with your kids.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're going to be running all over you.
Yeah.
It's same with friends and family members. You have to set boundaries. And if you write down what's stressing you out, who's stressing you out, then you can at least take that effort to reduce it by 30% with this person, reduce it with this, look at what you're causing yourself. Here's a big one I see all the time, and I was a culprit of this. I've got a meeting. I have to be somewhere. I've got an appointment. I Google it. Takes me half an hour to get there. I set off 35 minutes before. You're going to be stressed out because you're going to get stuck in a bit of traffic, or the guy in front of you on his phone and the light turns green. Now you're like honking on you. Come on, get there. Just things like that. That's causing you stress. And when you stress, you're producing cortisol, the stress hormone,
Right.
which then disrupts your blood sugars,
Mhm.
causing insulin, the fat storage hormone. There's
Right.
so many, all them five pillars contribute to weight gain.
Yeah. I agree with
Every
you.
one of them. Yeah, so you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to eat healthier." But if you're not moving your body and exercising, and you've got stress, and you're drinking too much alcohol, you're basically in the same boat.
Yeah. How do you feel about fats?
Fats, well, there's healthy fats and unhealthy fats. So
So
which are
I'm
the
a
unhealthy fats?
I'm
Seed
a
oil,
bacon lover.
bacon. Okay, well, again, a lot of bacon has sugar in it.
Mm.
That's the problem with these manufactured processed foods.
Yeah.
They put all sorts of stuff in it. I went to a party on Friday night and they had these little bacon wrapped dates and cheese.
Those are so
They were
good.
delicious. Oh, they were unbelievable. I kept looking at the plate saying, "Oh, wait, there's still some left. Let me mosey over there." Look, it's okay. Look, if you're having bacon with every meal, I don't suggest that.
No.
Yeah, look, if you're overall, I say 90% of the time eating real food,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Now, the problem with these deli meats, got to keep away from deli meats. That's not real food. They're
Yeah.
full of nitrites and nitrates, the same as bacon, and they're hormone disruptors.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what to say about that one, really, but I think you just got to really focus on real food, something what doesn't have a barcode on, which really is lean organic meats and chicken, wild caught fish, seafood, fruits and vegetable, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. Yeah, how many wonderful meals you can make out of that? Thousands,
Oh yeah, definitely.
thousands.
And like I
And
switched to like real butter a long time ago. I don't ever touch margarine. That stuff is just
uh,
fast food.
all that. The only really fats you should be cooking in at home
Mm-hmm.
is grass-fed butter,
Mm-hmm.
ghee,
Yep. Love
beef
that.
tallow, avocado oil, and only use olive oil for dressings and drizzles because it has a low smoke point. And you don't want to be cooking with olive oil, it'll turn
Right.
into trans fat.
Okay.
So that's about all you should have in your kitchen.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to use, oh, but let's throw coconut oil in there. Don't be afraid to use them. They're, 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 they're way better fats. They're good fats, one could say.
I need to
What
switch
you,
over to the beef tallow like you're saying. You're saying
mm,
if you're gonna cook something that needs a higher smoke point, use the beef tallow.
yeah, beef
I need
tallow,
to do
even butter's got a high smoke point.
that. Hmm.
Avocado oil's got a smoke point of, I think,
Okay.
500.
Okay.
But what you've got to ditch is corn oil,
I don't
canola.
use that.
Yeah, well, you might not, but you'll be surprised how many people are using it. So these, and again, where do you, I'm going to say, from what I'm led to believe, is that these industrial seed oils are equally, if not more damaging than sugar. They
Really?
damage the liver. They cause fatty liver.
So I just got my cholesterol done recently. I'm not a fan of going to doctors, so I don't get a lot of blood work done just
Mm.
because, anyway, I got it done because it was a free thing they did at the hospital. And my LDL is the one that's high. And so I did a little digging on that, thinking, the automatic thought is, oh, it's the fats. But after I dug, it was the liver that is the one that I need to work on cleaning that out to help it process
And
better.
you know what blocks the liver up?
What's that?
Simple carbohydrates, sugars, and seed oils. And where do we find all these products? Fast food, processed food, and sugary drinks.
Yeah,
That's what people aren't realizing. They're slowly damaging the liver.
right.
Then it turns into things like high blood pressure, pre-diabetes.
So how do you feel about, there's everybody's talking about and have been doing this for a while is detoxing. How do you feel about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, look, yeah, I mean that's okay, but what you it's like years ago people used to say, "Oh, I'm on a diet, I'm on a diet," and then 3 months later they're back to square one. So yeah, I'm all for detoxing, but I think more than anything is just looking at the 5 pillars of health, getting your nutrition in order. That's
Right.
a detox right there, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Fasting is so valuable.
Hmm.
It's so valuable. It really is. It's time your body heals. You get to a certain part of fasting, stem cell rejuvenation happens, healing happens. So yeah, detoxing. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna knock detoxing, but are
Yeah.
you gonna detox and then go back to the same lifestyle? It's about
Correct.
creating a new, healthy, sustainable lifestyle for the rest of your life.
Right. Right.
I can't imagine that I am not going to keep on eating real food for the rest of my life. I can't imagine that I'm going to stop moving my body, getting 10,000 steps in, doing a little bit of strength training. I
Yeah.
play soccer 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So I'm moving my body constantly. Even when
Wow.
I'm at home and I'm on the phone, I'm not sat down in a chair. I'm pacing around my house. The more you move, the better. Remember one thing, especially as we get older, you don't lose mobility because you're getting old. You lose mobility because you stop being mobile.
I know. I know that
It's the
I
truth.
preach that one to my clients all the time. And I say, even if you do lay in your bed and do some stretches, that's better than nothing.
Absolutely.
You can,
It's a great tip I give to people who may be realizing that they realize that leading a sedentary life is to one, move after every meal. I call it, these are some of the blood sugar hacks, because
mm-hmm,
it really is about being mindful of what you're doing to your blood sugar. When I eat this food, what is it going to do to my blood sugar?
yeah,
Is it going to give me a massive spike for a long duration, or is it going to do this and disappear real quickly?
yeah.
So you've got to be really mindful of your blood sugars. And then that's being mindful of where you're getting your food from. I mean, if you eat steak, eggs, avocado, uh, some vegetables, you're going to have a small spike, but it's not going to last long.
Right.
But if you go out and you're having pasta, bread, pizza, fast food, big spike, long duration, producing insulin, more insulin. Insulin is known, it's not known, it is the fat storage hormone. In fact, there is no, you can't possibly put weight on without producing insulin. You
Mm.
can't. It's impossible. And that's why people lose weight by being mindful of what they're putting in the bodies, what is it doing to the blood sugars. So I say after every meal, get in the habit of moving, whether you clean the kitchen up, you play with the kids, you go do your laundry. I save all my chores for after I've ate my meals.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, the work, yeah, it's like killing two birds with one stone. The
Mm.
worst thing you can do after a meal is go sit down. And I was a culprit of that. Oh, I've had a meal, I'll sit down, let my food digest. Worst thing you can do.
One thing I did just kind of spontaneously one day after breakfast, I think, is like you said, I was kind of cleaning up the kitchen and I just stood there at the counter and held onto the counter and did a couple of leg lifts and
Love it.
kicked my leg back this way and
That's
that
it.
way and
Lovely.
did some
Lovely.
arm. It took
That's
me
it.
less
Mm.
than 5 minutes, but I
Yep.
felt better after I did that. I did notice.
That's right. You will feel better if you move after a meal. And here's some other great tricks to really get blood sugar, to reduce your blood sugar spike is what you just said, calf raises. Stand there, it's just stand
Mm-hmm.
and move your heels off the floor, go onto your tiptoes, and you have a muscle in your calf. I think it's called the solaris muscle or something.
So yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
the soleus, thank you, the soleus muscle, that really eats up the sugar,
I've
because you're
just heard
expending
about
that
that.
energy.
They
Yeah, I
called
like.
it the stomach. What did they call that? I just heard that somewhere. I had never heard that before until
I
just
do it all the
recently.
time now. I do it even just part during the day. And here's another one if you're not used to moving a lot. Every time you go to the bathroom, hold on to the sink and do 10 squats.
Uh-huh.
You got to keep these joints moving. You got to keep these muscles. That's why by walking, again, if you're looking to lose weight, you got to slowly look at your steps by having a watch or a pedometer on your phone and
Right.
write them down, right? And say, okay, my average this week was 5,000. How
Right.
do I step it up? Well, you go for a little longer walk after your dinner, move a bit more after your dinner. When you
Mhm.
go to the supermarket, park at the far end. If you go into work and you work on the fourth floor, don't get the elevator, walk up the stairs. And when you come out of work at lunchtime, you walk down the stairs. Then you walk back up the stairs. You'll be surprised how easy it is to really get that step count up.
I'm laughing because I just moved my office to my upstairs and I started going up and down the stairs. And I can tell just even a slight difference after probably a week of doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't
Mm.
even necessarily come up here every single day. But
Hmm.
even still, I can tell my legs feel differently. They're stronger just from walking up and down the
Yeah, but
stairs.
that's it. Every step counts. Every step counts. And here's the thing: as we get older, you start getting in your late 50s, 60s, and 70s. I think we all know from the minute you're born, or when you get to teenagers and stuff, is that if you're not maintaining muscle, it's
You
going to
lose it.
slowly go away. You're going to slowly lose it. And
Mm,
that's why it's very common for people in the 60s and 70s to develop what's called sarcopenia. And that's where that's where the carbohydrates, the sugar, is stored.
mm,
So it's very common for people in the 60s and 70s who are not maintaining muscles, they're not getting 10,000 steps a day, and they're not doing a little bit of weight training just to keep a bit of arm and shoulder muscle. Then then it's insulin's job to get the sugars into the muscle and liver cells. But when you start to deteriorate, then it goes back in the bloodstream. And that's why it's quite common, apparently, for people in the 60s, 70s, and 80s to develop pre-diabetes, even though they're eating healthy, even
mm.
though they don't have stress and they're not drinking alcohol.
Right.
So there's all these little tips and tricks, if you want to call them, of
Hmm.
how to maintain good health.
Okay, very cool. Tell us how people can get a hold of your book, and hold it up one more time so we can see
Mm,
the name of it. And I'll even put a link below this so they
great,
can
lovely. I
read.
think so. This is all about the whole food diet. You can get this book on. Well, you can just go to Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital on Kindle.
Okay,
You
cool.
can also go to my website. There's a link right there. It'll take you straight to Amazon, and my website is simplyhealthconscious.com.
Simplyhealthconscious.com.
And I can be found on pretty much all the social medias: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, by my name, Graham Hawley.
Okay.
And yeah, so you got my website, you got my links. I really urge everybody to just stop, think about your health, think what you want your future health to be like,
Mm,
and take some action.
yeah.
I, I'm going to look, especially if you have children, because it's your job to make sure these children are healthy. And again, in parents' defense, they may be listening to this and not even aware of some of the things we've spoke about.
I
So
literally,
it's educating yourself. I say in the 21st century, if you don't educate yourself or be educated, you will develop metabolic dysfunction. I don't think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I literally said that to my daughter-in-law the other day because we sat down to dinner, so it was already like 6 o'clock or something, and she
Mm.
got a Dr. Pepper out, and my 5-year-old grandson was like, "I want some of that." She's like, "No, you can't have that," and I said,
But she can.
she goes, "Well, I'm an adult," and I said, "That's true, but he's copying what you're doing,"
Yeah,
and
for sure.
she didn't care, and I was like, "Well."
Mm. You see that type of, and again, no disrespect to her, but that type of mentality blows me away.
Yeah.
Is they know it's not good for the children, but yet they'll drink it themselves. Don't make sense, does it?
No, and I'm guilty. I drink a soda every now and then.
Well, look, having
But
a soda every now and again is okay. Look, I'm not
I
saying that
used to
you,
be a once a day, twice a day kind of person, so I'm doing pretty good if I'm down to
well, that's
a
it. And
couple
I
times a
tip my
week.
hat that you've acknowledged that and
Yeah,
that you do something about it.
right.
Again, I'm not saying that you can't go to a fast food restaurant. I'm not saying that you can't have one of these drinks. Me personally, I haven't been in a fast food restaurant for 6 years. I don't drink sugary drinks. I maybe go above and beyond what most people do
Yeah,
because I don't want that stuff in my body.
right.
I respect my body. I respect my organs. I don't want to be stressing them out.
Yeah. No, I think that's the key is to get to that mindset shift
Mm.
of looking at it almost like trash. If you say
It's
it's
trash.
trash, then you're not going to put the trash in your body. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
It's not going in my body. I
Yeah.
look, even when I buy organic fruits and vegetables, I'm like, wonder what's been sprayed on them. You just got, because it's so deceptive out there. Here's another great tip for washing fruits and vegetables, and I do this every time. I wash me as soon as I get my fruits and vegetables home. I got big bowls. I fill them with cold water. I throw all my berries in there and my
Mm-hmm.
kiwis, and I put baking soda. I let them sit there for 10 minutes in baking soda. And you can also use apple cider vinegar. It
Okay.
apparently just breaks some of the
Chemicals and stuff.
yeah, some of the chemicals what probably have been sprayed, especially if it's not organic. But even unorganic, I'm sure they're spraying something to keep the insects and pests away.
Right. And so then does that keep your food fresher longer too? Do you
Well,
know?
I don't know whether it's psychological, but when I started to do that, I'm like, oh, these raspberries taste way better. They're clean. I just feel so. It could be psychological, but I am led to believe it does do something to
Uh-huh.
break down the toxins.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to grow a food forest around our
Oh wow!
house. And so I've got blueberry bushes and blackberry bushes
Mm.
and raspberries, and
Oh,
I
great!
just got my first oranges this year, and that was exciting to be able to eat your own orange, you know? It
Oh
was
wow!
really cool.
Wow,
So,
yeah, no, that is exciting. It's nice you have a garden. It's nice you're doing that.
yeah, I love
Not everybody can do that, but yeah, I'd say if you've got a garden and you want to spend a bit of time in the garden, it's very therapeutic as well as you know that you're creating some good nourishment.
But everybody, even like you're saying, you said you're living in like a condominium or something.
Yeah,
I bet you have some landscaping in the area, right, around your building. What
yeah,
if what if those places would plant a blueberry bush instead of something else, and
right.
people could walk by and pick a blueberry every now and then. I mean,
Mm.
I think that's a shift that our world needs to take is why don't you plant food instead of just something that's pretty? I mean, I'm not saying don't plant those too, but throw in a food bush every now and then. So
Yeah,
much
well, it would. I
better than
mean, it would help. It would help.
that.
But I think that's real wishful thinking. I think people just have to stop and look at their own health where they are now.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people, and I find this all the time. I've even friends who are on medication and think it's okay to be on medication.
Yeah. I know.
Now, don't get me wrong. If you go to the doctors, you've got high blood pressure, you've got high glucose, well, you need to go on medication. You need to do something about that immediately. But the question is,
Right.
do you need to be on that medication the rest of your life?
No.
Because what I say is once you stop feeding the
Mm-hmm.
disease goes away.
I agree with that.
So people like type 2 diabetics or they're on high blood pressure medication, they're still feeding the disease. They're not aware of it, but they're still feeding the disease. Otherwise, the disease won't be there.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, I see it all the time.
And
So,
again, what people don't realize is the slow damage when they keep feeding the disease over the years and decades, the slow damage is doing to other vital organs
yeah, that's
until
the
you end up
biggest
like my
part.
brother and my father,
Yeah.
point of no return.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Well, I have absolutely loved talking to you. We could talk all day.
Yeah.
This is fun. Um, Thank you very much for coming on and spreading your message. And people then could get in contact with you through your website if they want to work one
They
on
can
one
get
with
it, yeah,
you.
absolutely. And I have a complimentary chat just to
Oh,
try and get people in the right direction. There's
hmm,
no obligation. I am not,
yeah,
I'm not going to say, I mean, I'm doing this to help people.
yeah,
I'm doing this to
excellent.
help people. And uh, I do presentations for families, and I'm looking at now just doing presentations for corporations. I just try to get my message out there. You don't need to live with disease. You don't need to develop disease, which is going to ruin your life. Look, here's the thing. what's the point of working so hard, building a life, building a family, building wealth and equity,
All
if
right.
you're not going to be around to enjoy it? It doesn't even make sense.
That actually is so true, and I've seen that. I've seen that in a couple of friends who died young in their 40s, and I was like, you worked yourself to death early to buy the big fancy house that you now don't live in.
They don't live in. Yeah, he
What's
lives in
the point of
lives
that?
lives underground.
Yeah. So you are
Yeah,
very right
so
about
yeah,
that.
I'm a just I can't express it anymore. Take care of your health.
Yeah.
Take care of your body. It's precious. Your mind, your brain, your organs,
Mm,
everything, your skin. It's
yeah.
just we're precious creatures.
Yeah.
And I have in this last 6 years, I just respect my body, and I'm so grateful that I'm actually healthy as I am,
Yeah.
and I intend to maintain my health.
I always tell people I'm going to live to be 140. So I
Well,
got
it's
to
the thing. It's
have
again,
to
it's
do. Mm,
I hear this all the time. Well, oh, I don't want to. Here's the thing. It's about making your health span the same as your lifespan.
yeah.
So it don't. I don't care. I don't really want to live to 100 unless I'm healthy.
Right.
If I can
Mind,
go
body, and
on,
spirit, all of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If I can go on hikes and I'm living a great life,
Hmm.
sure, I'll be happy when I'm 100.
Right.
But I don't want the last 10 years of my life to be in pain and suffering. That's what I don't want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm taking every step I possibly know to make sure that that will not happen.
Yeah.
Now, things happen. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but the odds are more in your
Exactly.
favor when you take care of this precious body we're in.
Yeah. I love that very much. All right. Well, we will say goodbye to everyone. Thank you for listening. And I hope you got a little tidbit of inspiration to start with that first small step.
Lovely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening today to Align and Elevate. If I can help you in any way, look me up at melanieking.me or check me out on Facebook, Instagram. MK Healer is my handle. As always, I will be me, you be you, and love who you are.